There comes a moment in life when the noise disappears and you are left alone with your thoughts. No distractions, no constant conversations, no one to lean on, just you and your mind. For many people, this silence feels uncomfortable, even heavy. But Stoicism teaches something different, something powerful. It tells us that being alone is not a weakness, but a rare opportunity. In a world where everyone is chasing attention and validation, the ability to stand strong alone becomes a true form of strength. Solitude is where you meet your real self without filters. It reveals your fears, your habits, and your inner voice. Most people try to escape this moment, but the Stoics embraced it. They understood that solitude is where discipline is built and clarity is born. Today, we will explore the Stoic way to stay strong even when you are completely alone. 1. Understand the difference between solitude and loneliness. Being alone does not automatically mean you are lonely, and this is the first truth you must understand. Loneliness is an emotional state, while solitude is simply a condition of being by yourself. When you confuse the two, you begin to suffer unnecessarily. Stoicism teaches that your perception shapes your experience. If you see solitude as a problem, it will feel heavy and uncomfortable. But if you see it as an opportunity, it becomes a powerful space for growth. Many people feel empty when alone because they depend on others for emotional stability. The Stoic path encourages you to change that dependency. Learn to sit with yourself without feeling the need to escape. The more you embrace solitude, the less it controls you. Over time, you realize that being alone can actually feel peaceful rather than painful. 2. Build a strong inner relationship with yourself. When you are alone, you are left with your thoughts, your habits, and your inner voice. This can feel uncomfortable if you have never taken time to understand yourself. Stoicism teaches that self-awareness is the foundation of strength. Instead of avoiding your thoughts, observe them calmly. Ask yourself what you fear, what you want, and what truly matters to you. This process helps you build a deeper relationship with yourself. The stronger this relationship becomes, the less you rely on others for validation. You begin to trust your own judgment and feel comfortable in your own presence. Over time, your inner world becomes a place of clarity rather than confusion. This is where true independence begins. When you understand yourself, you no longer feel lost when you are alone. 3. Control your thoughts. Your mind can either support you or work against you, especially when you are alone. Negative thoughts tend to grow louder in silence if they are not managed properly. Stoics believed that controlling your thoughts is one of the highest forms of discipline. This does not mean ignoring emotions, but understanding them without being controlled by them. When a negative thought appears, observe it instead of reacting immediately. Question whether it is helpful or harmful. Replace irrational thinking with logic and reason. This practice strengthens your mental clarity. Over time, your mind becomes calmer and more stable. You begin to guide your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. This is what makes solitude feel empowering instead of overwhelming. 4. Create purpose in your daily routine. A lack of purpose often makes being alone feel empty and directionless. Stoicism teaches that every day should have intention and meaning. When you create structure in your life, solitude becomes productive rather than painful. Start by setting small goals for yourself each day. These goals can be related to personal growth, work, or self-improvement. A clear routine gives your mind direction and reduces unnecessary overthinking. When your time is filled with purpose, you stop feeling the need for constant distraction. Each day becomes an opportunity to move forward, even if progress is slow. Over time, this consistency builds confidence and discipline. You begin to enjoy your own company because your time feels meaningful.
Purpose transforms solitude into strength. 5. Develop emotional independence. Many people struggle with being alone because they rely on others for emotional comfort. Stoicism teaches emotional independence, the ability to remain stable regardless of external support. This does not mean rejecting relationships, but not depending on them for your happiness. When you build emotional independence, your mood is no longer controlled by others' actions. You learn to manage your own feelings with awareness and discipline. This creates a sense of inner stability that cannot be easily shaken. When you are emotionally independent, being alone does not feel like a loss. Instead, it feels like freedom. You no longer chase validation or approval. Your peace comes from within, not from external sources. This is one of the most powerful forms of strength a person can develop. 6. Use silence as a tool for growth. Silence is often uncomfortable because it forces you to face yourself without distraction. But Stoicism teaches that silence is a powerful tool for growth. In silence, you can reflect, analyze, and understand your thoughts more clearly. It gives your mind the space to process experiences and emotions. Instead of running away from silence, learn to sit with it. Use this time to think deeply about your actions and decisions. This practice improves your self-awareness and emotional control. Over time, silence becomes less intimidating and more valuable. It becomes a place where clarity is created. The more you use silence intentionally, the stronger your mind becomes. Silence is not emptiness, it is a space for growth. 8. Strengthen your discipline when no one is watching. Your true character is revealed when you are alone and no one is watching. It's easy to act disciplined in front of others, but real strength comes from self-control in private moments. Stoicism emphasizes discipline as a core principle of a strong mind. Use your time alone to build habits that improve your life. This could include reading, exercising, or learning new skills. These actions may seem small, but they build long-term strength. When you stay consistent, you develop trust in yourself. Discipline creates structure and stability in your life. Over time, it becomes part of your identity. You no longer rely on external motivation. Your actions are guided by your own standards. This is how solitude turns into self-mastery. 9. Accept that you cannot control others. Many people feel alone because they expect others to behave in certain ways. When those expectations are not met, disappointment follows. Stoicism teaches acceptance of what you cannot control. You cannot control people's decisions, emotions, or actions. Holding on to these expectations creates unnecessary suffering. When you let go, you free your mind from frustration. Acceptance does not mean you agree with everything, but you stop resisting reality. This shift in mindset brings peace. You stop feeling dependent on others for your emotional stability. Instead, you focus on your own growth and actions. This makes solitude easier to handle. You begin to understand that your peace should not depend on others. 9. Practice daily reflection. Reflection is one of the most powerful Stoic habits. When you are alone, take time to review your day. Think about your actions, your reactions, and your decisions. Ask yourself what you did well and what you can improve. This practice builds self-awareness and helps you grow continuously. Reflection turns your experiences into lessons. Instead of repeating mistakes, you begin to learn from them. Over time, this habit sharpens your thinking and strengthens your character. It helps you become more intentional in your actions. Solitude becomes a time for learning rather than overthinking. Each day becomes an opportunity to improve yourself. This is how small reflections create long-term wisdom. 10. Find strength in your own presence. The ultimate goal of Stoicism is to feel strong and stable within yourself. When you reach this point, being alone no longer feels uncomfortable. it becomes a source of peace and confidence. You no longer need constant distraction or validation. Your presence is enough. This level of self-comfort is rare but powerful. It allows you to move through life with confidence and clarity. You become less dependent on external circumstances for happiness. Instead, your strength comes from within. Solitude becomes a place where you recharge and grow. When you master this, you realize that being alone is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Being alone is not a punishment. It is an opportunity that many people fail to understand. The Stoic way teaches us that true strength is built in moments of silence and solitude. When you learn to control your thoughts, build discipline, and create purpose, being